you lie. Straight up busted on family ties. Super G supposedly.
Banging in Brooklyn, grinding in Greenpoint, doing work in Williamsburg, and occasionally making moves in Manhattan. I am Dave Clifford, a.k.a. at Fishy Fridge on Twitter.
And I am Joy, at JoyGNY on Twitter.
And this is Fight Fuel MMA's post-fight breakdown of UFC 213.
First up on the main card, we have Rob Font versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. Two bantamweights with very impressive records. That was originally scheduled for the prelims, but due to all the shakeups in the main card, it ended up getting bumped to the pay-per-view card. We'll get to that later.
Font versus Silva de Andrade was a good fight and a good win for Font. He secured the victory via guillotine late in the second round, and it gives him a win against a bantamweight with a really impressive record. So look for him to be moving up the rankings in the bantamweight division.
Yeah, he sunk that choke in. He didn't have I remember he didn't have the leg over the body. He was in not the greatest position, but he got the tap, so impressive. He must have been cranking on that really, really tight.
He must have watched Olejnik's fight earlier in the night and realized you could just make this happen.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later.
The next fight on the card, we had Anthony Showtime Pettis versus Jim Miller.
Serious fight.
Yes.
Jim Miller is one of my favorite fighters. Tough, blue-collar grappler with good striking, brings it every fight. Take a look at his fights with Joe Lozon if you want to see a good example of how Jim Miller fights. And Anthony Pettis, who is an incredibly talented fighter.
Highlight reel.
Yeah.
He's just a walking highlight reel.
Really good striking, and in this fight he displayed a very good ground game, a surprisingly good ground game. Pettis took this fight, and I thought that Miller was going to grind him out. Pettis did not look good at 145.
No.
Drained, weak. It wasn't the right division for him. I thought that would follow him coming back into the lightweight division. Yeah,
but he proved that he overcame the lull that he had in his last couple fights. He looked like Showtime of old. So, I mean, great performance. He's back.
Yeah, it would appear he is back, and there are a lot of exciting matchups to be had for him.
Yeah, no knock on Jim Miller for the loss. Pettis definitely won, but Jim Miller put up a great fight. He always puts on a great performance. I'm so upset because he lost his last fight also in a similar fashion. That last fight was a little bit closer, but hurts my heart. I love Jim Miller so much.
Yeah, that Poirier fight was rough.
Yeah. But for Pettis, I mean, he's a former champion. He did it before. Maybe he could do it again.
I foresee he will advance in the division. I don't think he's going to get a title again. Personally, I think the UFC would like to see him with the title around his waist again. He's marketable.
Sure.
But look, I was wrong about this fight. I thought he was going to lose this fight. So
yeah, me too.
Gonna have to wait to see what happens on that.
Congratulations, Pettis, and can't wait to see what's next for you.
Yeah. The next fight on the card is a fight between Curtis Blaydes and Daniel Omielanczyk. I can save you some time. Don't watch the fight. Take an 18-minute nap. That includes the minute between rounds. It'll serve you much better. The fight was a snooze fest. Snooze fest. Snooze fest. Just a bad fight. Blaydes was a guy who came into the UFC with a bit of hype behind him. They wanted to push him. He was a strong, athletic heavyweight, and the UFC needs more young, strong, athletic heavyweights. He's been doing okay in the UFC. They gave him Omielanczyk, and it was just a bad fight.
Yeah, no knock on Blaydes. I mean, that's what he had to do to win. That was, I guess, his game plan, to be able to just try and control him. I mean, maybe it was more of a game plan to try and land the takedowns a little bit more. Yeah. But it just turned into like this grueling, like, press against the cage.
Kick him in the dick.
Allegedly.
He definitely kicked him in the dick.
Yeah, well, I mean, he won the fight. He's just got to climb that heavyweight ladder. I don't even know who they would give him next. Heavyweights are just, they're so like kind of all over the place right now.
After this fight, it wasn't a very impressive performance. He did get the W. Couldn't secure the takedown, surprisingly, to me. Doesn't really matter who they give him. Give him somebody you could beat if you still want to push him. He got the job done at the end of the day.
Yeah, so awesome job, Curtis Blaydes.
There you go.
Can't wait to see you fight again, Omielanchuk. We want to see you fight again too, I guess.
Yeah, I want to see you fight again.
All right. Next up on the card, we have Fabricio Werdum versus Alistair Overeem.
3.
Wow. This was a crazy fight.
It was crazy in the sense that I don't know if it really made any sense. Werdum, it seems like he decided to do what Brendan Schaub did and retire from fighting to become a comedian, because he opened up the first and second round with a flying sidekick. He didn't do it one time, he did it twice.
That's his new move now. Hey, he hit Travis Brown with it pretty clear, dead on.
He's working the sidekick. He's throwing sidekicks on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's his thing.
You do you, Werdum.
He was doing him.
He had that fight. He had that fight in the third round. Yeah. Overeem pretty, like, the first round, they gave it to Overeem, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they gave the first two rounds
they did.
to Overeem.
I'm not 100% sure. I gotta look at the scorecards. But...
Which when I was watching the fights, I thought Overeem won the first 2 rounds. And then I look at actually a Werdum post on Insta, and I'm looking at the stats, and Werdum hit Overeem way more than Overeem hit him.
Yeah. Watching the fight, it looked like a close fight. It looked like Werdum could have beaten him in the third round because he just needed a couple more shots, and because he had him rocked, he knocked him down. And instead, he jumped on a sub, which ended up making him lose the fight because he didn't get the sub.
So it makes sense for Werdum to look for a finish on the ground. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ace, one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in the heavyweight division.
But know your opponent.
Exactly. Do you not watch MMA? When Overeem gets hit and rocked, he freezes and he puts the mitts up and he lets you hit him until you knock him out. Yeah. All you had to do was keep hitting him until you knocked him out.
Fucked up.
Exactly, you fucked up. Which is why when the decision came in, I was kind of okay with Overeem winning because...
So was Dana White.
Yeah, well,
He kind of agreed with you. He's like, well, he could have won the fight, but he didn't. He deserves to lose, in so many words. Kind of paraphrasing.
Kind of did. It was some funky judging. I guess the fight could have gone either way.
But I mean, I don't know.
Do your homework.
I thought Werdum won, in my opinion. I thought it was a close fight, but I thought he won. And then I was like, okay, I guess I could see how Overeem won. And then I saw the stats, and I was like, oh my god. How did Overeem win?
At first I thought Overeem won, and then I saw the stats, and I thought he lost. And then I realized how badly Werdum missed that opportunity in the third, and then I was like, okay, Overeem won.
Yeah. It's a shame. So, I guess, is Overeem gonna get a title shot again?
No.
Okay, good.
Was saying on the back of that kind of performance, you don't get a title shot, which I would agree with.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I remember that now. I remember him saying that, but I couldn't remember who he said that about. But that totally makes sense. So, yeah, I guess he's going to have to fight one more time, at least.
And I think they'll give him a high-profile fight. I don't know who with right now. Don't think it matters all that much. It's going to be a high-profile fight. And title shots in the heavyweight division are kind of up for grabs, so it would be mean if they paired him up with Ngannou next. That'd be mean.
Nobody wants to fight him.
No, but I'd watch.
Yeah. I'm with the Derek Lewis loss. I was really high on him. I'm like, all right, if he beats Mark Hunt, which he could do, he was like on an undefeated streak like no other. I'm like, all right, he's next. But he lost, so it's like, I don't even know who's going to fight for the title next.
I don't know.
Cain Velasquez, where are you?
Depends on Cain being healthy.
Yeah. But Overeem, just give him a good opponent. He is, I have to say, he's probably one of the cleanest, most technical strikers in the heavyweight division right now. So it is a pleasure to watch him fight, and he definitely can beat a lot of people, a lot of heavyweights. So
if he hits you, he can knock you out.
He almost finished Stipe, so he could have very well been the champion. He pulled a Verdum, or Verdum pulled a Overeem.
Maybe watch take
Overeem did it first. Yeah, who knows? So that was it was a really great fight to watch. It was super frustrating at the end, like we said. But so that was the co-main event of the evening. On to the main event of the evening. Oh my gosh. Robert the Reaper Whittaker
versus Yoel, Soldier of God Romero.
Yeah, so Robert Whittaker. I just want to start from when he initially was in welterweight and he decided to move up to middleweight. I remember seeing his first couple fights and just being like, wow, this guy's great. This guy's awesome. This guy's a world beater, right? Then they give him Souza in his last fight. They give him Souza, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
Oh my God. They're giving him this Super Saiyan monster, like one of the scariest middleweights. Should have had a title shot a very long time ago.
And he would have had a title shot had he beaten Whittaker.
Yes. So I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna lose. Because it's Souza. He's not human. He beat the crap out of Jacare Souza. Yeah. Then I was like, okay. I mean, I've always been on the Whittaker hype train, but I was a little worried about that, but he beat the crap out of him. Holy crap. And then they give him Yoel Romero, who's even scarier.
Yeah, I would say Romero is was probably the scariest middleweight fighting today. Bisping has been maneuvering not to fight him, or
master of ducking,
to fight him at as late a date as possible.
Yeah,
I don't blame him. I had picked Romero to win this fight.
I picked Whittaker though, because I'm like, if he can beat Souza in the fashion that he beat him in, and this is going to be a 5-round fight, Whittaker will come out victorious. And I kind of predicted it. He's going to win rounds 3, 4, and 5.
Which is exactly what he did.
Possibly knock him out. But he didn't knock him out. He got the victory. So there you go.
He got a hard-fought victory because Romero injured Whittaker's leg in the first round with one of these brutal-ass push kicks to the knee. Whittaker's knee was all sorts of jacked up. And at one point, he's in his corner, and it was in between the second and third round.
Oh, okay.
I heard his corner man say to him, I don't know what's going on with your leg, but you've got to forget about it. You've got to forget about it right now.
Yeah.
And he did. I'm sure it was impeding his movement. It was definitely a factor in the fight, but you could tell that he had decided, I am no longer concerned with this. It's going to be what it's going to be. And he just friggin' soldiered on and took that interim belt. And
legitimized it.
Exactly. I didn't think this was going to be possible, but a performance like that on the back of all those high-profile wins he had, that march towards the title, has legitimized an interim belt. It's a friggin' miracle from gay Jesus. Robert Whittaker made an interim belt as good as the real thing.
Yeah, and he said it best himself in the post-fight press conference, because someone had asked him or mentioned,
probably Helwani.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. He said, the guy said, people with interim belts in the past, the second they win them, they take them off, they throw them on the ground, they say they're worthless. You seem like you're pretty happy to win the interim belt. Elaborate on that. He's like, I had to beat Yoel Romero. I definitely deserve a belt. That was like perfect. Honestly, he does deserve a belt for beating him. That guy is like ridiculous. I mean, do you see his body, his age? He's a 17 years ago, 2000 Olympics silver medalist in wrestling. Like, what the hell?
And he looks scarier now than he did in 2000.
Yeah.
Which is if we're talking scary, that's really scary. So Whittaker had his hands full with this fight.
Yeah.
Now, to get back to the fight, like you predicted and like a lot of people did, Romero fades towards the later rounds, so it was on Whittaker to weather an early storm. And he lost rounds 1 and 2, and I thought he lost them also.
Yeah. The leg really impeded his game plan, for sure.
But that's props to Romero because he hurt him. It's not like it's a fluke and he stepped wrong. And Romero caused that injury. But you could see Whittaker fighting with the heart of a champion, pushing through the injury, and with the mindset of a strategist. He knew what he had to do to get that victory, and he pulled it off with a level head during a really dangerous situation and pulled off the victory. It was incredibly impressive to me. I enjoy when fighters can fight in an intelligent manner under duress. So I was already impressed with Whittaker. I'm even more impressed now. And I think when he does fight Michael Bisping, because for anything else to happen would be a travesty.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Bisping, stop ducking. And also, Bisping, don't rip up flags. He ripped up the Cuban flag in the middle of the fight. Okay, Mr. Heel of the century. That was savage.
It was some pro wrestling shit, and the post-fight in-ring encounter was straight pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah. It was actually, that I thought was funny. So Bisping comes in before the decision is even read. Yeah.
Wasted.
True that. So the decision's read. Whittaker wins. He's so happy. He gets his belt, hard-earned belt. Bisping walks up. He throws the belt on the.
He started some shit with Romero first. He
of course.
Romero.
Yeah. And then he throws the belt on the floor. He's like, you want this? You want this?
Which doesn't make any sense. He's throwing his own belt on the floor.
I know, that's messed up.
And then Whittaker goes, do I get to keep that?
Yeah. I'm sorry, you could trash talk Romero. Trash talk with Romero, start some beef. That's a good,
it's an effective marketing tactic.
Heated back and forth, war of words, right?
Don't rip up the flag.
But Whittaker, Whittaker's he's like, all right, mate. He's like,
I think we're destined to fight each other.
He's so nice. He's like, I respect all my opponents. How do you not like him? He's so likable, but also he's now the scariest middleweight walking around right now. And so it's so crazy how he's also just I'm so happy I won, and just just down to earth, normal dude. Yeah, you can't trash talk with him. He's just all right. And so I thought that was funny.
It was funny. I think we're both going to call this. He's going to mark Michael Bisping.
Yeah, Bisping's definitely going to put up a fight.
Bisping always puts up a fight. He's a tough motherfucker.
Whittaker's faster. He hits harder. So I think
14 years younger.
Oh yeah, he's a lot younger than him too. So Bisping will definitely put up a fight. But there's no way that Whittaker's gonna lose. He's gonna get that belt. He deserves that belt. He deserves to be the undisputed middleweight champion. So I can't wait for that. I'm so excited. I really hope they do it in Australia. That would be amazing. Because I feel like Bisping is hoping also that they do it in Australia because he's already playing the heel.
Yeah, he's hyping it up.
He wants to be hated.
Well,
and booed and
in Australia.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I
feel like he's kind of setting that up, or maybe he was just drunk. Who knows?
The other thing about Australia, Cyborg was tweeting about she already has a fight with Tanya Evinger, so maybe she's getting a little ahead of herself. I think she is. Evinger's a sick opponent. You can't overlook her. But Cyborg was tweeting, She knows a girl from down under who wants to fight Megan Anderson. Let's say Cyborg beats Evinger. You have Cyborg and Anderson as the co-main, and then you get Hunt on there against who the fuck ever you want. And that shit is record-breaking.
Done.
Sold out. You could sell out the island of Australia. You just make everybody buy a ticket to be on Australia. And they'll pay for it.
It's going to be crazy. I really hope that card happens. That would be a big card. That would be like a monumental card that will shatter records for this year. If they get it this year. If not, then it'll shatter records for next year. But they need something like that. They really need a big-ass card. Because
this card was sick. 213 turned out to be a good card, but it wasn't the card that they had envisioned initially.
Yeah, and that we'll get to. We're going to actually talk about that next. But, yeah, so congratulations, Whittaker. In this fight, I ended up having a lot of respect for Romero. I was never too keen on him, but I have so much respect for him now after this fight. He really put up a good fight, and he's still scary in my opinion, but Whittaker, like, come on now.
So scary.
Yeah.
I will say, in this fight, Romero did not cheat, which is a plus. And at the end of the fight, both fighters embraced. They embraced backstage pre-interview.
Mad respect.
They came out with nothing but respect for each other.
Yeah.
And neither one had a bad word to say about the other. So, awesome performance by both guys. Congratulations, Robert Whittaker.
All right, and now we have to get to the bad parts of the card. In a little ending segment I'd like to call, This is Number One Bullshit. Starting with the card itself. What the hell happened to this card? It went from Garbrandt Dillashaw, like, ultimate rivalry to, like, round out the tough finale. Like, tough finale the day before. Then you got the two coaches who have a lot of heat going at it for that title. So that gets scrapped. Garbrandt's injured. Okay, it happens. So now Nunez Shevchenko 2 is the main event for the women's bantamweight title.
Which is cool. That's a good fight.
And on the card also was Lawler Cerrone. Lawler Cerrone.
I would buy that fight alone for the full price of a pay-per-view.
Seriously, I mean, I feel like the arena would have exploded from, like, awesomeness. So maybe it's a good thing that they weren't on the card. Injuries, I believe.
Cerrone wound up getting a blood infection.
Yes. Okay, that's what it was. It was something with Cerrone, right?
Yeah, he was in the hospital, 7 days antibiotics. If you believe Dana White, Cerrone said he was still good to fight, and White said no. Reports were floating around he was injured. It was actually a sickness.
Yeah, so that got scrapped from the card. That was pretty early on. So then it was Nunez Shevchenko 2, and, like, that I was really excited to see. I really thought that Nunez is a great fighter. She's put on some amazing performances. She's on fire right now. However, Valentina Shevchenko, I really thought she was going to win. I really thought she was going to take it to her. Shevchenko, I just think, is the more well-rounded fighter and with the higher gas tank. So I really thought that this was Shevchenko's moment, and she has a big, bright future ahead of her. So really excited for this fight.
At 125.
Well, even at 135, she's beating bitches up.
She is. I thought Nunez was going to win, but you're right. Shevchenko's gas tank is way better, and this was going to be a 5-round fight, and that definitely favors Valentina Shevchenko, no doubt.
Yeah, so long story short, the day of the pay-per-view.
Not the weigh-ins.
The pay-per-view. The fight gets scrapped. Amanda Nunez has been in and out of the hospital for days. All week with terrible sinus pressure.
But nobody knew that because she went into the hospital and they just cleared her twice. And what she said was that they tested her blood pressure and her hydration, heart rate, and they said you're fine to fight. She later revealed she has chronic sinusitis and was not in any condition to fight.
Yeah, so she's the champion. They should have just listened to her a week ago. but I feel like they just ignored it and were like, oh, you're cleared to fight, so...
Well, this is the issue, because I think there's a lot of number one bullshit going on here. Nunez has chronic, not acute, sinusitis, so she knows she's had the condition for a while. She says she's fought with it before, but it was worse this time. Did she divulge that to the matchmakers, to whoever she's got to divulge that to? We don't know. The second number one bullshit was Dana White's response to Nunez pulling out.
My God.
Oh, shit.
Wow, can he be any more, like, butthurt? Dana White, maybe you should think before you start spewing hate towards your champions. I really thought he was a little harsh on her. But then again, I have no idea what's actually happened versus what we're being told. So maybe he has every right to be like, yo, she'll never headline a card again. The whole division will never headline a card. Yeah. That was a little much. I think he meant to just say, I think he just meant to say, like, Nunez, you're done. You're cut off from main eventing cards. You were cleared to fight. What the hell? I feel like maybe, I don't know. I really don't know where the truth lies.
Well, also, there's the fact that John Jones was never going to main event a card either. And he's main event in 214.
Yeah. They weren't even meant to headline this card.
Dana White says a lot of things that then don't happen sometimes. So
I just feel like he was a little harsh on her.
Well, he threw her under the bus, but here's what's weird about that. To me, even if you don't like this woman, you don't like her as your champion, you're a businessman, right? She is product. That's how you look at 99.9% of the fighters you have in your stable, as you call it. Weird term, but that's what it is. She's product, right? So you devalue your product by talking her down.
Not only just a product, your champion who beat the crap out of your baby girl, Ronda Rousey, and your number 2 baby girl, Miesha Tate. Impressively. So what does that say about women's MMA in general?
I don't know. I actually expected White to come out with more of a personal kind of bent to what he was saying, because, you know, when he gets mad, he'll be like, fuck John Jones, fucking Greg Jackson is a sport killer and all this shit. He didn't sound like he was mad. He was just like, she don't want to fight, we can't make her fight, what are you going to do? But lie.
Yeah,
say,
I don't know.
Yes, she was unable to fight. She had this severe medical issue.
Yes.
It's terrible this happened. We're going to make the fight as soon as we can. Yeah. Why are you taking away value from your product? I get if you want to attack her personally and you're willing to sacrifice your product's value to fucking blame her, but you didn't do that.
Yeah,
weird reaction.
Yeah, I thought it was very odd. Regardless, the fight gets scrapped. I don't know how many hours before the fight gets scrapped. Jan Jedrzejczyk, our strawweight champion, our women's strawweight champion, says, Dana, I'll fight Shevchenko tonight. You don't have to lose your main event. She's
got footage of her warming up, like, in a hotel room. She's, like, clinched up with somebody. She's like, I will fight her. You make the guidelines say I can fight her, not Polish power.
Now, a little history here. Shevchenko and Jan Jedrzejczyk, they are different sizes, I would say. Yeah. So they're 20 pounds different in weight class. However, Jan Jedrzejczyk's pretty big for her weight class. Shevchenko's on the smaller side for bantamweight. So they are still different sized human beings, right? They're both Muay Thai background, right? They've both fought 3 times Muay Thai. 3 times, 3 matches. Shevchenko won all 3. Now, granted, she's a bigger fighter, but Jan Jedrzejczyk, even though knowing that she's lost to her 3 times in Muay Thai, she said, I'll fight her tonight. The balls on that woman.
Now you look
fucking love her.
You look at it objectively, though. What did she have to lose?
Yeah.
Nothing. She's not going to lose a strawweight title. What did she have to gain? If she could win, she's simultaneous 2-division title holder. And
well, it would be a.
Were they going to make the fight at 125? Well, was Shevchenko going to have to cut to 125? No, I don't know.
I mean, that would have been crazy. That would have been very unhealthy.
There's no way you make that fight, but I think she was probably serious and would have taken the fight if they would have given it to her. So
That's why Jędrzejczyk,
cool.
yeah, is probably one of my favorite fighters. Is
Definitely one of my favorite fighters.
Top 2? Because 5? Top 3? Top 3 for me. Top 3 for me.
5.
Current fighters. Top 3.
Well, you know, I'm going in the whole history, and I really like Tsuyoshi Sakibara.
Oh.
He was one of my favorites. Fuck you, Todd Grisham.
That's a number 1 bullshit, but that was the night before.
This is number 1 bullshit, and it happened this weekend, and it carried over to 213.
Todd Grisham.
We have any more number 1 bullshit?
Dude, we could do this for days. You want to just do a whole number 1 bullshit?
1 bullshit? We might have done enough number 1 bullshit.
To make it its own video?
Possibly. We can add more number 1 bullshit.
Yeah, if you want to see, so we have more number 1 bullshits that aren't related to 213 or International Fight Week in general. I guess you could kind of group that together. Do you want to see more number 1 bullshit?
Buy the Khabib hat, and we could wear it when we do this.
I'm Russian.
Yeah, she could wear it. You ever notice that Khabib looks like...
Khabib.
Yeah. He looks
Khabib.
like the main ape from Planet of the Apes. You ever see that? He looks exactly like that.
I've never seen it.
He looks like him.
He looks like a destroyer of lightweights.
Yes.
And tiramisu?
He says no. He says it was just...
That's
it was
so
on the table.
stupid.
He didn't eat it.
Tony Ferguson, though, he's pretty funny, I gotta say.
Yeah, but Khabib said this is number 1 bullshit.
Yeah,
I did not eat the tiramisu.
Habib is better with the number 1 bullshit.
I still want to call him Khabib.
Habib.
But I've been calling him Khabib.
It's Habib.
Habib, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong,
that's number 1
comment that
bullshit.
this is number 1 bullshit.
All right, this complete tangent of a
This is broken down rapidly.
Yeah,
This has become
we need to
tangential.
stop. The lights are on. It is summertime. It is fucking hot as hell. My cat is passed out by the camera. I wish he'd come on set, but
He won't.
he's on his back.
It's like your show is number 1 bullshit. And he lounges.
I feel like he's saying that. All right, we're going to cut it now while we're ahead.
Okay, so
Thank you for watching this recap of UFC 213 with a little number 1 bullshit at the end. If you like it, let us know. If you hate it,
let us know.
let us know.
Tell us.
We'll take everything except really, really weird stuff. I don't take that well. Get at us on Twitter. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, we have more that are old. So watch them.
Watch them. Yeah.
Subscribe if you like
But
us.
still current. They're classics. They don't go out of style.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll see you soon.
Signing out from Brooklyn, New York, I am Dave, a.k.a. at Fishy Fridge on Twitter.
And I am Joy at GeorgieMY on Twitter.
We are out.
Peace.
That is real life. No Joe Rogan, no bright lights, no scorpions, and no snake bites. Let's rap that niggas get stage fright.